Hi Caitlin, this is Fancy, and I am looking at your design and looking at your comments, and look at that beautiful transition from yellow to orange. And also purple to magenta works well, and green to cyan as well. Um, Make sure that where these meet up, and they do because of the way that you've got your gradation situated, there are some, there are vanishing boundaries. Just make sure that you have vanishing boundaries where like the cyan comes in contact with the purple. Make sure you have some vanishing boundaries well represented. And most likely you will because you're obviously gradating through all your colors. But here, so you see how these are gradating this way? They're not necessarily gradating this way, while the purple is gradating this way. So make sure that you end your gradations where these two touch, where there should be vanishing boundaries, um, where these two colors, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain this. So where these come in contact with each other, you want to have vanishing boundaries. So that may mean that you need to change how these gradate. Does that make sense? So if these so that where this is touching, you have dark values in cyan and light values in purple. So you might need to change the way this gradation moves. So you might want to start here with lighter values in your cyan, gradating away, gradating back through the darker values and starting to repeat again. So that would be the same for all of these. So you can see where these touch, there's some good vanishing boundaries. But you also know that you're going to get the best transparencies if you're making the vanishing boundaries happen with the middle values. So you need to make sure that that's going on in some of the places in your design. So I'm getting a good sense of transitions between the green and the cyan, and the purple to the magenta, and the yellow to the orange. So you just need to make sure that you're getting good transitions between the orange and the magenta, and the purple and the cyan, and the green and the yellow. As far as adding additional visual interest, because you want to work with something more than just gradation, I would think about interpenetration. And because these break up into such small units, these tiny small squares, what seems to work well is if you combine some of these smaller squares into kind of a larger interpenetration. Again, not too large, but large enough to be noticeable, to kind of break away from the small unit. And that's pretty easy to do. Sometimes people do like two that are the same, or they'll combine four, um, or they'll combine two, or combine three, like in a chevron shape. Something that will break apart from the rest of the um, smaller squares. Something that looks different, like an anomaly, a change in the pattern. And then make sure that it's reciprocating, dark and light, and then light into dark, and make sure that they don't look like figures on a ground. So I'll be very interested in seeing what you bring in tomorrow. So I like it. It just needs to be pushed a little bit further. You need a little bit more visual interest. The other thing you could think about is kind of extending some of these. If you want to work with visual pathways instead of interpenetration, you could kind of take these pathways and extend the green one into the magenta further, or the cyan further into the purple. You could try that as well. So make sure that you're saving each one of these separate iterations as a separate Illustrator file so that you can always go back to a previous design. All right, see you tomorrow.